A young man sleeping on his bed, having a dream about a great tree that will grow above the Middle East, Southeastern Europe, and North Africa. This great tree was actually an empire. An empire so prosperous that every businessman liked to live there. An empire so feared that people died when hearing its name. That empire that had warriors as fierce as lions. That empire that was as fierce as a caged dog. That empire is known today as the Ottoman Empire. This is Osman I. He was born in 1258 in a town called Söğüt. In 1258, he was the son of Ertuğrul, a tribesman, a leader of the K tribe. He had a dream of an empire that would be known in all of his lands as a major power. This was his dream. And when he became leader of his tribe, he was ready to pursue his dream by starting an empire. First of his major success was the siege of Bursa in 1326. This siege gave a major setback to the Byzantine Empire, as it gave little access from the west to the Sea of Marmara to the Byzantines. The siege of Bursa the siege of Bursa ended in a year, but it was catastrophic for the Byzantines. They were low on supplies because of this, and Bursa was only 70 miles from Istanbul, but had a high vantage point which could be easy for an Ottoman attack on Istanbul, which in the future his successors could use. So let's see, but what else did he conquer? This is what he conquered. He conquered Nicomedia, Nicaea and Bursa. These three were major cities of the Byzantines. This gave a lot of access for the Ottomans to Constantinople, and it gave even a lot of access to the Sea of Marmara, which even gave them access it even gave them access to the Mediterranean warm sea, and this even allowed them to create their own navy and have ports for themselves, and allowed them to establish their own empire. This even strengthened the empire, allowing it to make its own navy. So let's move on to what did he conquer? So he conquered all of his land. He conquered as much of this land that he could. He conquered Redoscook, which was a major city that could allow the Ottomans to siege Constantinople easily. After his successors conquered Adrianople, it was easy for a siege of Constantinople to happen. We had the Byzantines' capital in their grasps. So this was even all of this conquering, all of his blood was a major setback for the Ottomans. But we have discussed what they did, but we have not discussed how did this happen or why did this happen. But we know that he had a dream that he wanted to have an empire. That's why he separated from the Seljuks. He made his own country, and he said that I'm just independent. But there were two major people stopping him: the Seljuks and the Mongols. So these are two familiar names to us. The Seljuks, he was related to the Seljuks. The Seljuks he was related to them from his mother. His mother was an Seljuk Sultana, because his what do you call it, his grandfather was a Seljuk Sultan. So he was related to the Seljuks, okay, from his mother's side. That's why the Seljuks did, when he attacked the Byzantine Empire, he was literally at war with the Byzantines. So Byzantines. So this even was a reason for the Byzantines to declare war on the Seljuks, which was really bad because the Seljuks were not as strong as the Byzantines. This could even be the end of the Byzantine dynasty, which was really bad for all of mainland Turkey. And the Mongols were around there too. As he was a rising power in mainland Turkey, the Mongols were stopping him a lot. So he was stopped by attacking Byzantines, as the Byzantines and Mongols started to form an alliance together. Which it's like two noodles are coming or are clashing at each other, and in between those two noodles is a small little person that is going to be stabbed with both of their needles. So it was really hard for Osman to get control. But as he was so close to Constantinople and he conquered major cities, this helped him to gain a high vantage point, and he got a head start in Europe, which allowed his successor Sultan Mehmed II for the 14th century to conquer Constantinople, and his other successors to conquer Southeastern Europe and Suleiman and all of these conquests. But sadly, his death happened in the 13th century in 1326 at the age of 68. People believe that he died of a disease called gout. This was even really majorly sad for the empire, but because of his major conquests and major accomplishments, his successors didn't really have a problem in doing anything. Like Orhan, he conquered Adrianople and most of Southeastern Europe and even most of the Middle East. We'll discuss about him later. But he was a great emperor, and you just need to know that never give up, even whoever is trying to stop you. This is the moral of today, because you have to know that history always repeats itself. So if something happened like 600 years ago, 700 years ago, this thing is going to happen again. I'm not saying that a new Ottoman Empire will come, I don't really know, but just remember to subscribe, like, and comment in this video if you liked it or not. Thanks very much. Bye. Bye.